My name is Trista Frederick, and I am a graduate student in the Department of Psychology. I'm doing my PhD in clinical psychology, and I did a systematic review.
So my name is Sue Ellen. I'm a postdoc here at the School of Rehabilitation Science, and I did a systematic review on measurement properties of instruments assessing the spine.
It was a very challenging process, and it was very longer than I expected, but I learned a lot of things along the way, and it was a very rewarding experience to synthesize all the data.
Well, the experience was a little bit challenging than I expected, but also very great at the end. So I had a limited time to do this systematic review. It was 1.5 years, which seems to be a little bit short for a systematic review. We had to extend it for 2 years. Sometimes it would take longer, some steps that I thought it wouldn't take that long. Others were a little bit quicker, but yeah, at the end of the day, the feeling at finishing the report was great, and seeing the results working and having the synthesis of how to use the instruments to assess the spine was a great experience.
It was all challenging, but I think one of the most challenging parts was finding a framework that my search could fit in, and then finding the appropriate search terms and keywords to ensure that my search was comprehensive and that I wasn't missing any literature from the area.
Well, considering we did a systematic review on permanent functional impairment of the spine, we first had to understand what is this type of assessment and what is this construct. We didn't know that well, so for me it was the most challenging part on creating this working concept on how to work with that construct, and that was the basic, because from there we would organize our search and our screening, all the other steps of the systematic review. So the most challenging aspect of this particular systematic review was working on the construct and making sure it was clear and clean enough to work for each step of the systematic review.
I think my best advice would be to develop a search protocol prior to doing the systematic review or the actual search, and doing that in collaboration with a librarian, getting them to review it, or even trying to publish that, the protocol on its own, and attending library information sessions on systematic reviews, so that a lot of the heavy lifting of the systematic review is done prior to actually doing the search, which will make your search a lot easier.
Well, my advice would be stick to the question you have, your research question. So all the time or each step, remember what answer you were trying to bring with your systematic review. Especially because it will help you to organize your search, and all the way through data analysis, data extraction, and especially for me, it was for the screening. It will help you a lot on excluding or not excluding the paper. We have this feeling of you don't want to lose any information. We like all the papers we're seeing, they're very interesting, but you need to remember what the question you have and what you want to answer. And then sometimes that paper won't have the information you need. But it might be very interesting. If you're still liking the paper, keep it for the discussion, but it's not part of your systematic review. So always remember what you're trying to answer with your systematic review.